My name is Isabel Carrió, and I would like to introduce you the Creative Action Institute, an organization that advances community-driven solutions to gender inequities and climate justice. Our programs are in Africa, mostly in the East and West regions, and in Latin America. We focus on community-based solutions because we believe those closest to the challenges are best equipped to identify and implement solutions. Those solutions are coming from them with their views and realistic perspectives on community resilience, which is one of our programs as well. Through our experiential programs, Creative Action Institute develops strong leaders, build networks, and support grassroots advocacy strategies that incorporate arts, creative thinking methodologies to shift behaviors for a more sustainable planet. And you might be thinking, how does it work? And how the power of arts-based methods works to promote whole of society approaches for nature. We will invite you to hear from 3 partner organizations, One Planet from Peru, FOREP from Cameroon, and EcoLogic Development Fund in Guatemala, to understand more about their experience incorporating into their existing work the power of art for social action.
Hello, I'm Ewi Stephanie Lama. I'm an environmental and climate justice advocate with Forest Resources and People, Cameroon. We have had beautiful collaborations with CAI through our creative advocacy practicums, which have been hosted twice in Cameroon. We've been able to mobilize, work together with over 100 children 2 times to engage them in climate change, in climate action, and also to build their capacities on climate advocacy and on climate leadership. We've used creative art tools like Each One Teach One, Step into the Circle, Vision Board, Mind Map. We've used tools like Images on the Wall, Council of All Beings, and colorful thinking arts. These have enabled our children in these clubs to understand climate change better and to be able to engage and collaborate with us in executing climate action. Through our creative advocacy practicums, we've established home gardens in schools and engaged our children from our clubs to take part in landscape restoration activities. We've mobilized over 2,000 community members to engage with our tree planting activities and in participating in our climate advocacy parade. For the first time, we've been able to host 2 climate advocacy parades in our community that has mobilized both parents, children, and road users to engage in climate action. It has been lovely working with CAI, and we see a need to continue our collaboration. Our children have become more creative. Our children now understand climate change from a very basic level, and they are able to collaborate effectively with us in class, and life in the classroom has been made very simple. Some of these tools have also been passed on to women in rural communities where we've built their capacities on climate leadership differently. We continue partnership with CAI, and we are looking forward to more creative advocacy practicums. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Mario Ardani de León Benítez, oficial de programas para EcoLogic en Guatemala. Desde hace varios años hemos coordinado acciones con NEBF y con CAI, principalmente en acciones de metodologías participativas que nos han permitido llegar a realizar un trabajo mucho más fácil y comprensible con agricultores, con personas que protegen bosques, con comunidades indígenas en diferentes regiones de Guatemala. principalmente en Totonicapán. Queremos agradecer a CAI el apoyo brindado durante el año 2022, ya que en el proyecto de Totonicapán logramos capacitar a 30 jóvenes en acciones de liderazgo creativo. Realmente se utilizaron algunas herramientas y algunos métodos de capacitación. Tal es el tema de conocimiento de prácticas ancestrales, en donde también los jóvenes elaboraron un proyecto. Después de elaborar el proyecto, los jóvenes lo presentaron y el proyecto fue el de escribir mensajes de la conservación de los recursos naturales a través de cintas, las cuales fueron colocadas en un lugar visible. En este caso, la presentación se realizó en el vivero de los 48 cantones de Totonicapán, con algunos mensajes bien importantes, por ejemplo, cuida el agua, cuida el bosque, es nuestra naturaleza. Al final, mensajes bien concretos, bien claros, colocados en un lugar de bastante importancia. Ha sido bien fácil manejar a estos grupos con las metodologías y las herramientas que CAI y NEBF nos han proporcionado. Les agradezco bastante.
My name is Elizabeth Benson. I'm Director of Field Operations for One Planet here in the Peruvian Amazon. For over a decade, we've partnered with the Mahuna people in pursuit of community organization, biocultural conservation, and the defense of Mahuna ancestral lands. Through the Creative Advocacy Practicum, we trained 25 Mahuna kids from 3 different communities in audiovisual production. Then the kids between ages 12 and 18 turned those skills to look at their own communities and create 4 short films that reflect their identities and their place in the defense of their culture and rainforest. The process took place over the course of a week in the community of Nueva Vida. We used the Creative Action Institute's tools to facilitate exploration with the kids of various aspects of their community and their ancestral forest. Our facilitators then trained the kids using audiovisual equipment, everything from sound, lighting, editing, cameras, and drones, to prepare them to tell their own stories. In 4 groups, they created short films that centered on themes celebrating Mahuna identity, culture, and how they're imbued with a connection to the forest and its conservation. One short focused on how Mahuna women used Chambira palm fibers for hammock weaving, another used animation to tell an original narrative, and the others focused on intergenerational transmission of knowledge about the forest and Mahuna culture. Finally, the kids presented their short films in the communities, and the impacts went far beyond 4 videos. The kids found joy in their identity, their community, and forest, and in the process, they gained knowledge about the land and a deeper dedication to its conservation. These kids are on the road to becoming leaders, and they'll be responsible for conserving the land and for securing a future for the Mahuna people. Following the CAP, the current Mahuna authorities and these young leaders are now more committed to being involved in their land conservation, and they're collectively strengthened to celebrate their heritage and to defend their rainforest.
So, what do you think? Our programs enable girls, women, grassroots advocates in remote areas to access transformative trainings and resources. Together, we are tackling pressing issues like we saw deforestation, pollution, the loss of ancestral practices, and threats to wildlife and biodiversity. We would like to invite Jessica Brown, the Executive Director of the New England BioLife Foundation, and ask her, why are you as a donor prioritizing support for these kinds of partnerships and approaches?
Thanks so much, Isa. It's a pleasure to participate in this fireside chat with you and with others who have been involved in CAI's Creative Advocacy Practicum program. It's been great just now to listen to the wonderful stories from our partners at EcoLogic and FOREP and One Planet, and to hear how they've transformed their CAPS experience into creative action on the ground. And to hear how they're working with Indigenous and local communities to advance biodiversity conservation and reduce deforestation, revitalize ancestral knowledge, and restore ecosystems, because all of these activities are front and center to the mission and funding priorities of the New England Biolabs Foundation, where I work. And that's why we're so delighted to be supporting the CAPS program. The foundation has a long history of partnership with the Creative Action Institute, or CAI, as I've been saying, going back to the organization's inception when it was called ArtCorps. And then over time, as Creative Action Institute developed and refined its impressive suite of training and capacity building opportunities, supporting the CAPS program has been a natural evolution of this relationship. As background, for over a decade, we have been partnering with CAI to deliver capacity building workshops to our grantees in our 9 international target countries. And this has involved working with NGOs in very different regions of the world, from Central America to Andean South America to West Africa. I've had the privilege of participating in many of these creative leadership workshops over the years. So I've seen it firsthand in person, and when the pandemic forced a pivot to remote delivery virtually. And I have witnessed such incredible excitement and growth as the participants have been introduced to a range of art-based tools for community facilitation and empowerment, and for work not only in their communities, but in their own organizations. What we would see, though, then, is that our partners would return to their communities with all of these new ideas and tools gained from the workshops, eager to implement them, but sometimes lacking the support they needed. The CAI team quickly realized the importance of coaching and mentoring, and found ways to provide this kind of support both virtually and in person, but still there was a missing piece. Often what the partners needed was just a little financial support in order to actually implement the project. And that's why the mini grants element of the CAPS program is such a brilliant addition. When CAI approached us with this idea, we were ready to support it right away. The New England Biolabs Foundation staff and board could see the value of this approach, and we were happy to entrust CAI with the regranting of these funds, knowing that they would be able to leverage this support into so much good work in the countries and communities where our partners are working. And that's exactly what we have just seen here in this little see a glimpse of it in this fireside chat today, along with the examples that were featured here from FOREP, EcoLogic, and One Planet, are other CAPS projects all over the world, addressing issues such as plastics pollution in the Gulf of Honduras, loss of pollinators in the Mayan golden landscape of Belize, food sovereignty in rural communities of Nicaragua, and integrated waste management by communities in the Volta region of Ghana. So lots of really exciting impact on the ground from a relatively small investment of funding through these mini grants. But of course, it's so much more than just one thing. It's not just mini grants. It's not just capacity building or coaching. It's the way that all of these elements work together in an integrated approach. That's really the secret behind this wonderful program. And that's why, as a donor, our foundation is so proud to be supporting the Creative Action Institute's CAPS program. It's a holistic model of how capacity building and training can lead to real action on the ground. Thank you.